Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today I thought I'd do more or less of a final thoughts review on the Grundig S450DLX field radio that I got recently. I already did an unboxing and basic review on this. I've had a bit of time to play with it too, and been actually getting quite a bit of use out of this thing. And it's beginning to be pretty addictive because I really like radios that have shortwave in them. When I was younger, I had a Toshiba, ghetto blaster is what we called them back then, and it had shortwave in it, and I really like the shortwave stuff. I think it's cool listening to stuff from other countries and that. So, been wanting one of these for a long time, and finally got this one, and now I want the Satellite 750 from Grundig because it's even better. So, hey, you gotta have some fun, right? But good starting point. So if you're looking at just getting into this sort of thing as a hobby, listening to, even just the shortwave stuff part of it, it's a good starting point, and it's inexpensive. I mean, that Satellite 750, that's going to set me back about 300 bucks. Where this one here, it's normally 100 bucks, and I got it on sale for 75, so really good deal. Now, I'm going to talk about a few things that I've found since using this thing. The built-in telescopic antenna is actually really good for indoor use. I haven't used it outdoors because it is winter time, so I'll have to see what it's like outdoors in the summertime, and clear nights and overcast nights, that sort of stuff. Right now it's actually snowing outside pretty good, and so we're still getting some really good reception with the external antenna, but I've also been trying it today with the telescopic, and it's still doing well. But I made myself an external antenna. There's a screw-in type thing in the back for like a satellite cable or cable that you would normally screw into the connectors. They got that on the back of this radio, and so the FM and FM and shortwave is off that one antenna line. And I don't have an external antenna source for this yet, like a proper one, but I've been experimenting, doing a little bit of research on, making homemade antennas. So I've got this speaker wire that's, well, it's better than 25 feet long altogether. And I stripped the ends off and twisted them together. So I've got two wires basically, and twist them in and just plugged it into the center hole of the screw-in jack on the back. So I'm not using the outside ground piece at all, and what a difference it makes on shortwave reception, daytime and nighttime. I'm pulling in a lot more stations now, and ones that I was pulling in before, I'm pulling them in even stronger and clearer, which is nice. Even my FM side has increased better. The AM side, just for some reason, the AM is just better just using the internal antenna. And we only have one station for AM available to us anyway. But at least as far as, in the city, to pull in anything outside, it's very difficult, outside the city for longer AM stations for some reason. I don't know why. But for the FM and the shortwaves 1, 2, and 3 does a really good job. I've been finding a lot of channels, stations on the shortwave 1 and 2. On shortwave 3, I found about a half a dozen of them. Now, the one thing I've been finding is with a lot of use, because I put this thing through a lot of use in a very short time, the dial, I'm just going to put this on stop, but the dial actually starts to loosen up. So you can actually, oh, I missed putting it on stop. That's okay though, I got presets. The dial does start to loosen up, which is fine, because then you can, sit here with your finger in the little turning hole, and you can whip around the channel spectrum really quick. Now, the way the tuning step thing works is it's incremental. So on slow, it's increments of 1, okay, on the FM band. And when you go to fast mode, it's in increments of 10. Okay, so 10 megahertz at a time. So it's a little different, going to the shortwave. On fast, it's increments of 5. And of course your slow is still increments of 1. On straight AM, on slow, increments of 1, And on fast, it jumped from 3 to 12, 21, 30. So it's not as it's actually a little more jumpier, I find, anyway. So, but just as a bit of an example here, like this should come in fine. This is 600. That should come in fine. Now if I switch over to the internal antenna, and I got to extend the antenna. It doesn't really come in the world's best, narrow band or wide. So just not a lot of access there to the AM side of things. Which, now whatever. It's kind of sucky, but, you know, going to the external source, it's still not really any better. So, not the best on the AM side of things. Shortwave 1. Now I like to use the slow because one increment at a time, a lot of these stations are very sensitive, so when you're skipping over by 5 at a time, you can totally miss a station. So I leave it in the slow. You know, and you'll find where the clearest spot is. Now, when you're on shortwave band, they tell you to have your AM RF gain all the way up. Okay, and you can tell the difference here. It's down. Now it's up.
Hoy les tengo una excelente propuesta para quienes viajen a Seúl en esta fecha, porque pueden conocer un edificio más dinámico de la web. Al tiempo de ser un excelente
Now this is going through the telescopic antenna now. $96.05. Some things will work really well, some are, you know, you gotta alternate the antennas. We'll skip down to the 7000. There's another station here. Let's go to shortwave 2. So there really isn't a lot on shortwave 2 right now this time of night. 137.46. So let's say this is a station we want to save. Press the T set button and preset. And hit it the second time. Preset number 1. Now let's go back here. Say I want to save this one. Hit T set, but I want to put it into number 2. So up and down arrows for going through. You have up to 10 presets. So this will put it in number 2. Hit T set again, and it's programmed in. So now, let's knock it right out there. Preset 3, 4, 5, 6. There's preset number 2 we just saved. So very easy to set up. Even setting up the clock is really easy. Setting up timers for alarms, I mean, I haven't even bothered with it yet, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, this radio also has a 9 kilohertz and 9 meter and 10 meter bands. Because I'm in Canada, it gets shipped as a 10 meter setup, but there's a switch inside the battery compartment on here to switch between 10 and 9 meters. And right now I have this on 9 meter. So when you flip that switch to the opposite meter band, make sure the power is turned off, flick the switch, and then there's a little reset button area here. Just use like a paper clip, push it in the hole, and it'll have a little clicky button in there. Just press and hold for about 10 seconds, and then let go, and then fire up your radio, and then you're in the 9 meter band. And right now I have mine set in the 9 meter band, and I get a lot more stations in 9 meter than I do in 10 in my country, which is kind of stupid, but I do. But here's FM. Now this is one of our local stations, 106.3, comes in nice and clear. Now I also have computer speakers hooked into this right now. And you got your bass, treble, control, very easy. Your RF gain does absolutely nothing on the FM band. It's only for AM and shortwave. Okay? Now, to avoid the radio getting off station and stuff, if you press stop, you can turn the dial all you want, and it's not going to knock it off. Okay, now the lock button comes up with a key, says it's locked. You can't turn the power off accidentally. You also can't knock it off station. It's secure until you unlock it. So that's kind of a nice feature to have, because this dial starts to get really sensitive as it loosens up too with use, you know. Now I've got some other presets I've set up in here already. So preset 4. This is another station, 100.5. Number 2. This is a local station. And then my favorite station, of course. What is a little bit crazy is I'd like to be able to go forward and backward on the presets, right? So if you go down, you're just going down in frequency here. So you really don't have much control over presets other than you can decide, you know, 1 to 10, but then you got to keep pushing the button in order to get to that next preset to find your favorite preset. So it would have been nice if they would have put a number pad in this, which would have been helpful, even, you know, 1 to 0 type thing for numbers. But I mean, hey, it's $100, you know, regular price, $75 on sale. I mean, you got to live with some annoyances. The Satellite 750 I've been looking at, it's a heck of a lot better, and you know, it's got the number pad there and everything. Just, it's a wonderful little machine. So I can't wait to get my hands on that after Christmas. But this was a good starting point for me to start with, because I wanted to get into this sort of stuff again, and I really like it. And I'm going to get into the, you know, better antenna systems and, you know, proper stuff type of thing. But even with the built-in speaker, for sound-wise, is really good.
Still 0. How do you do that?
So, let's just put this on one of the stations there, the other ones. Okay, 101. So this is just a built-in speaker. There's full bass, half bass, full treble. So I mean, the built-in speaker sounds awesome. But I prefer the stereo sound, and I don't use headphones myself really. So I got my speakers from my computer that I can plug into this thing if I want to. I also have a headset if I want to plug in a headset to it. You know, it's kind of a thing where I can do what I want. There is a line out jack on here as well, and a line in jack. They tell you about that in the book. I'm still trying to read more about it, but the line out is basically, it's a fixed rate, and so you need to go into an amplified source with it. So if we plug our speakers into the line out, we still get the built-in speaker, but it's fixed rate, so we can turn that off and just use the amplified speaker, you know, and it's stereo output as well. Line in would be input source, which I don't know why you'd want to go line in for anything, but you know, whatever. So, but so we'll go back to the headphone jack here. So anyway, so overall, I mean, I'm gonna give this a real good, honest. I definitely say, after the amount of time I've spent with it, this dial does tend to loosen up a lot on you, which that does annoy me a little bit, you know. But yeah, it's not too bad. These are actually pretty firm for the switches, you know, which that's good. I don't care that they're plastic switch covers. I mean, plastic's plastic, metal's metal, who cares, you know? I do like the rotary dial thing through the finger. What I don't like is the fact that it does loosen up, so it does make things a lot more sensitive, which has some good points and bad points to it. But I mean, overall, for price, for quality of sound, for quality of reception, with my little rigged up antenna, also with the built-in telescopic, the features for locking, that sort of stuff, and you know, price point's the big thing too. You know, I'm talking an honest 4 out of 5, you know, and I think that's fair for this particular machine, you know. And I like the digital display too. I like the digital tuner, it's nice, you know. I like the light up feature to the tuner as well. These lights here for the buttons, you can actually turn them off so that only your LED panel lights and they don't. It's up to you. I like them on because I think it's cool. And you got the little light button too, so if you need to see it. Turn power off, you go right straight to the clock, you know, which is cool. I haven't used D batteries in it because it does use 6 D cells. So I'm going to have to pick up a pack of 6 D cells. And I'm going to go with Duracell because they'll last for like almost forever, it feels like. But you want to use quality batteries, especially in a radio like this. You need to feed it its full voltage and milliamp capabilities. And Duracells and Energizers work really well for that. And being that they're bigger batteries too, they're higher capacity, so they do last a long, long time. And I've used D cells in other devices in the past, and D cells, you know, they're like 3 times, 4 times more better battery length than even a C cell, for example, or an AA or AAA. You know, it's just the way it works, right? But I am going to be, you know, trying this thing out with the batteries eventually. But it does come with a power supply, which is great. So you're definitely getting full power to the radio. The carry handle is kind of cool, but I haven't really bothered with setting it up because I'm just leaving this thing set up on the desk anyway, and you know, type of thing. Well, shelf for now, you know, but yeah, it's pretty good overall, guys. I mean, so if you're looking for something to just get started with, I would definitely start here. You know, this is definitely the best bang for the buck you're going to find as a starting platform before getting into the more expensive units. You know, unless you got the money and you want to go expensive units right away, by all means, knock yourself out. I'm looking probably February or March before I'll be able to afford the Satellite 750 by Grundig, and then after that there's another model up from there that I want. You know, and it just becomes very addictive, you know, and gets costly. But that's okay, it's all part of the fun and the hobby, and this is what I like. This is one of the things I like to do, among other things. So anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Feel free to leave your questions, comments. I'll do the best I can to answer them, you know. And I'm always going to be learning, you know, new stuff, I'm sure, about this thing as I go along. You know, it is a very good machine. So catch you later.